And welcome back to the countdown. I am your countdown host, MJ Book, back for another trip into the world of the countdown. Second episode today on this rather special day for me because today is Cheers, me birthday. So I just recorded just a little while ago with Blake. We counted down our favorite Denzel Washington movies that is up and ready for everyone to watch or listen to. So please, I'll explain later at the end how you can do all that. But I have another countdown, and this is another guest. So 2 in 1 day. That is probably a first. Definitely going to be a first for my birthday. This guy has been a contributor onto the show numerous times. He may be next to Rob, the most mentioned person on here. Rob might be mentioned a little more. I don't know. I'll have to check on that. But he is the host and the creator of Third Generation Wrestling. He is known there as the real Big E. Here, you're Eric. How's it going, sir?
Going good, man. Hey, happy birthday to the host of the countdown, bringing us countdowns for the last year and a half. Cheers to you, sir. And looking forward to All Out and looking forward to the draft this week.
Definitely. And this is episode 23 of this season. And so the way this is going, I think I had like 34 or 35 last season. So I'm going to have more this year than I had last year. So I guess that's a good thing.
Yeah.
But we've been working on finishing this countdown for a bit now, and we're finally knocking this thing out. We did a countdown. We were counting down action movies of the decade. And finally, we are knocking this out and finally going to finish this final decade that we are experiencing. How difficult of a countdown was this for you?
You know what? It was very difficult because of the stipulation given by the host of no comic book movies, and I stuck to it. Not a single one. Even though one of them got a comic after the fact. But anyway, it's not Marvel or DC. So, and looking at it from 2010, probably started in 2008 actually, to now, majority of action movies are comic book movies, superhero movies.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's been going on since the last 12 years. So this was really like having to comb through and really, really get to the nitty gritty of action movies that had nothing to do with drawings on paper. So a little tougher, but thankfully I'm a movie buff. And yeah, I was able to put together a list and have a few honorable mentions.
I had to do it because as bad as it was starting to get with our last countdown, it went to a whole nother level once we got to this countdown, and it could have easily just totally dominated. So can't have that. It's too easy to do. I will be doing something to that effect because I have a poll up. So I will be eventually doing it. That is going to be a huge countdown. It's going to be 3 episodes. It may look like to be biggest countdown I've done. So looking forward to doing that. But this countdown, as you just said, we're counting down our favorite action movies from 2010 to 2019. And did you have honorable mentions? It sounded like you did.
I do. Just a few. I only have 3 really, because like I said, this was a tight, tough list to do, and I tried not to. And the other thing there was a lot of with this decade was a lot of sequels. So instead of going numbers 8, 9, 10, or whatever, 3, 4, 5, I just kind of said, well, either this one or this series. So anyway, that being said, this was an action comedy, and I don't know how many people, sought this one out, but I was working at a movie theater when it came out, and I thought it was absolutely hilarious. Caught me off guard even, and it was, buddy cop action type movie. But anyway, The Heat, Sandra Bullock and Melissa McCarthy. I enjoyed that movie. Yeah, I enjoyed that movie. I thought it was kind of like when Melissa McCarthy was kind of starting out with that phase of her career, being really raunchy and over the top. So it was still fresh, but now that's all she does. So it's kind of lost its effect. Faster, Dwayne Rock Johnson.
I've never seen that one actually.
That is one of his best movies. He's not being The Rock in that movie. He's actually acting. So I appreciate it. And it's action packed. And he is absolutely ruthless in that movie. So, yes, highly recommend Faster. And while this movie had no plot, it had a ton of action. Godzilla, King of the Monsters. Um, what more can you ask for? Every heavy hitter from King Ghidorah to excuse me, Rodan and Mothra, and of course Godzilla himself. So yeah, definitely have to put that on there. So yeah, those are the three that I'm gonna mention for now.
I have several, but I'm only going to mention a couple here, and I'll progressively go through them because I want to save some stuff as surprises. Um, The Gray with Liam Neeson.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I like that movie.
That movie is absolute ass.
I like it. I like The Gray.
Oh my god.
I like The Gray.
Terrible.
I like The Gray. You just mentioned The Rock, so I'll just mention one of his. Skyscraper. I like Skyscraper. It's an honorable mention. It's not in my top 10. It's not in my
sound like me with the first.
No. These aren't in my top 10.
Yes,
These aren't in my. No, they're not. These are not in my top 10. Another one. London Has Fallen.
Okay, thank you.
London Has Fallen.
Well, I at least feel how you felt. Like Jesus, those two. I've seen them, and
I'll mention one more. Rock. San Andreas. I like San Andreas. It's a guilty pleasure. It's better than Tooth Fairy. But those are my honorable mentions. And without further ado, let's get started with the countdown. This is a 10-spot countdown. And of course, as always, my guests always have the right and the opportunity to go first. So let's get it cracking. What is number 10?
Okay. So we're going to go back a little bit to the beginning of the decade to a movie that probably a lot of people forgot about and a lot of people either didn't see or have mixed feelings about. 2013. I'm just going to put his name out there now. I have Tom Cruise quite a bit on this countdown. Just going to put that out there now.
Oh, dear.
And
that tells me what they are.
No. Here's a bunch of different films. This one in particular stood out to me. I thought it was so different. And it came out around the time 1080p first became a thing. So we're going back a ways. And it looked absolutely stunning in HD, starring Tom Cruise, Morgan Freeman, Oblivion. It's one of those kind of end of the world type films, and it's not as action packed as the other movies on my list, but I really enjoyed this movie. I don't know what it was. Olga Kurylenko is in the film as well. There's a unique twist to the movie. Other people I've sat and watched this with did not care for it, and I fully understand. I get it. I don't know why it just stuck with me. I can watch it over and over again, and I enjoyed it. And I think I liked it also because it was Tom Cruise doing something other than,
Mission Impossible.
Yeah. And
which there's nothing wrong with Mission Impossible. I own the box set.
Just it was different. It was unique. I liked it. That's why it's on here. I don't want to say too much about it because it's kind of easy to spoil. So, but check it out. Give it a shot at least. Oblivion.
Yeah, I saw it. I was one of those that didn't care for it. It wasn't good. It just wasn't good. He's been in far worse, but yeah, I still, Minority Report is far worse.
Worse. That's one of his best
I
movies.
I hate Minority Report.
Oh man.
It was boring. All right. My number 10, and it's funny that this is number 10 because in the previous countdown, you said it yourself, there's a lot of sequels. This is the sequel to a movie that was in my previous countdown. Not only was it in my previous countdown, but it was number 10. So I didn't realize I did this until I looked back and noticed that this was number 10. So for you folks on YouTube, my number 10, Sherlock Holmes, A Game of Shadows.
Ever seen it?
I love the Sherlock Holmes movie, these two Sherlock Holmes movies with Robert Downey Jr. and Jude Law. And this, if you're a fan of Sherlock Holmes, the person you've been waiting to show up was Moriarty. Moriarty shows up in this. He is Sherlock Holmes' greatest enemy, his arch nemesis. He is the Joker to Batman. It's the numero uno villain. And he just is on the trail of Professor Moriarty. And Moriarty's just as smart as Sherlock Holmes. So it is a fun romp. And Robert Downey at this point, kind of to tie along with what you said about Tom Cruise, nice to see him not be Iron Man. It was just nice because it was starting to become a bit much, and this was still somewhat early in it before he started dipping into all the Avengers and the guest spots and Spidey and all that stuff. But it was just nice to see him do something different and it actually be good, unlike Dr. Dolittle. But this was just a fun movie. I've heard rumors that they want to do a third movie. I would love to see them do a third movie. This movie came out in 2011, directed by Guy Ritchie. Just a great Sherlock Holmes movie. It's a fight between him and Benedict Cumberbatch as to which Sherlock is better. I love them both for different reasons, but this was fun. I own this movie on Blu-ray. Exciting movie. Robert Downey, when he was still making the good movies, he's my number 10 again. Sherlock Holmes, Game of Shadows.
Oh, ever seen it? Yeah, I just, it's not my thing. That's all I can chalk it up to. It's not my thing.
It's cool, man. It's cool. I have a feeling we might say that a few times to each other.
Yeah, yeah.
Just as long as you don't go off the deep end.
I don't think so. All right, so number 9 for me is another Tom Cruise movie. Another one that's kind of, well, I guess it's not completely original, but it kind of is. And I don't know how I describe this either without spoiling it, because it's. I don't think they gave too much away in the trailer. I'm trying to even remember the trailer. But I think as me being a military guy, maybe that's why this movie stood out to me. But I'm talking about Edge of Tomorrow.
Okay.
Emily Blunt. And first of all, Emily Blunt looks fantastic in this movie. I just have to put that out there. Whew, she's just gorgeous. And rest in peace to Bill Paxton, one of my favorite actors growing up.
Oh yeah, he was in that.
He sure was. He was great in there too. This was essentially Groundhog's Day in an action movie. Okay, it was Tom Cruise stuck in a time loop, and he had to figure out how to stop something from happening and save the world with Emily Blunt, and he had to die every day until he figured it out, and they keep repeating certain things. So it was interesting to see how he was going to get over that hump, and I thought it was well done. I'm always about these alien action movies. It was dope. I had a kick ass time. I really really enjoyed it. I didn't expect to like it, and then I ended up loving it. So yeah, my number 9, Edge of Tomorrow, and again, shout out to Emily Blunt.
Yeah, not a fan. Not a fan of that movie either. Tom did some good stuff, but so far you're mentioning the stuff I didn't like that he made during this time. No rip on Tom, because I have a lot of Tom movies. Most of them happen to be Mission Impossible. But
I just that's probably part of it too. He wasn't doing that for a little bit. He took a break and he was doing other stuff. I thought this was very unique.
it's unique, but maybe not as unique as my number 9. Okay. As much as you laughed at me for The Gray, you're really going to laugh at me for this one. It's a guilty pleasure. I fully admit that this movie is shit, but I fucking love it. I posted a video about this when I used to do reviews back on Facebook because I love this movie so much. It's cheese, but damn it, it's good cheese. Directed by Stuart Beadle, and
No, man.
Yeah.
No.
Starring Aaron Eckhart, Miranda Otto, Frankenstein.
He owed somebody money to do that fucking movie. There's no way.
It,
uh,
it is it's just a guilty pleasure. I did not think, as you just said, I did not think I was going to like this movie. But I loved it. I ended up seeing it twice that weekend.
Okay. I'll admit, I went into that movie thinking it was going to be Van Helsing, and it was not.
No, it's not. It's not. This is different. This is totally different. It's a different take on Frankenstein.
Yeah.
And credit to Aaron Eckhart. Dude got cut for this movie. He's already in pretty good shape, but he got seriously cut because it was during this time that he was actually on the cover of Men's Fitness. It was because of this movie, because he'd gotten himself cut. But this movie, just the Frankenstein creature is immortal, of course, and he's caught in this centuries-old war between these two immortal clans. It's a really difficult plot to try to describe. It's definitely out there. It's weird, but I don't know why. It just caught me. Maybe it just caught me on a good day, but I can still watch this and enjoy it. I bought it the day it came out on Blu-ray. I didn't hesitate. So if I get something the day it comes out, it means I really, really loved it. And this is just a guilty pleasure. It is shit. I admit it. I acknowledge it. It is shit. But I enjoyed it. It's great action. Aaron kicks ass in this movie. He's got these two sticks as weapons. He's just beating the shit out of people. I enjoyed it. It's just a grotesquely cheesy movie, but as long as you're entertained by it, shouldn't matter. I loved it. I tentatively recommend it because it is shit, but it's good shit. Sorry. My number 9 is Frankenstein. And there you go.
I need a lot of alcohol to get through that shit.
I love it. Can't explain it.
I mean, I get liking Frankenstein. I understand that. Some things don't need to be told in a different light. Okay. So
I liked they were being different with it. It was better than watching the oh geez, why am I forgetting his name? The last movie that I can't think of his name.
Okay. Well, if it comes to you, just shout it out. All right. Number 8. And this is
De Niro. Robert De Niro.
There you go.
Robert De Niro.
The other thing that is all these categories from this era. So yeah, what? Superhero movies, sequels, and we can't forget remakes.
Not remakes. They decided the term was reboots.
Well,
it became reboots.
Oh yeah, I guess you call this one a soft reboot because it technically follows the original, quote unquote. And talking about Predators. I actually enjoyed this movie. No, I did.
Hey, this is right on par with My Eye Frankenstein.
No,
it is bad. Predators is bad, bro.
No, it's not. No,
yes,
it's not.
It is.
No, I totally disagree. Adrian, now I will say Adrian Brody as a lead. I don't like that casting, but I look, the concept of the movie, putting people on this alien planet and having the predators do what they do, and there's two races of predators, and you kind of see the hunting style. There's all these different concepts. I really appreciate that. And this is how you do something original and change it up a little bit. He had Lawrence Fishburne in there, and he's batshit crazy in the movie, talking to himself. But I like that they really took and explained and kind of broke down the Predator character, as well as came up with this idea of the bigger ones take out the little ones, and they hunt on this planet. And there was some confusing themes, though. Like, instead of how many years you were there, it was seasons. So how long is a season? They never explained. But it was still, to me, it was executed well. And even though Adrian Brody was a lead, I don't think they tried to Arnold him up because there's just no way you could. But I think he did his own version. And I bought it. I was able to kind of escape. I did not like Topher Grace in the movie. He's just a fucking pain in the ass, heel mug. I'm glad he got taken out the way he did. That's all I got to say. There are a lot of stereotypes in the movie as well, but that's just kind of what it is. But I really did like that scene with the Yakuza guy going against the Predator. That was a dope scene, and I just really enjoyed it. I recommend it. They still, to me, have not been able to duplicate the success of the first one, obviously, because it's Arnold, and that one was an actual kind of a linear story, and it was the first time you saw it, so you're not going to get that. But they just haven't been able to hit the nail on the head quite. But to me, this is the closest to it, because that most recent Predator movie,
that's even worse.
That is god awful.
That is terrible.
That is
that is really, really bad.
Really bad. And that was directed by one of the guys that was in the original, so you would think it'd be good, but it's not. So, yep, Predators, number 8.
I didn't finish that movie. I couldn't finish it. It was just too bad. I just stopped. But my number 8, staying in the world of sequels. And once again, this is a sequel, and its original was in a previous countdown. So let's just show it.
No.
Yep.
No.
Taken 2. I love the Taken franchise. I'm a sucker for the Taken franchise. I get it. Liam's been playing this role for a very long time, but
since this movie came out.
But it's not like I'm a fan of all the Liam Neeson movies. It's just Taken. As a matter of fact, Taken 3 is another one of those movies on my honorable mention list. I have all three of these movies. I bought them all on Blu-ray. I love the Taken franchise. I'm a sucker for Liam Neeson movies. I will always watch them. His very first starring role was Darkman, and I've just followed the guy ever since. I love that movie, Darkman. And of course, Taken 2, he's playing the same character. He's in Istanbul. He's playing Brian Mills, and this time his wife is taken hostage, and it's taken hostage by the father of one of the people he kind of killed earlier in the first movie, and the same kind of action ensues. If you've watched a Liam Neeson movie within the last 10 years, you know what he does. But I just like these Taken movies. He hit the genie in the bottle with these movies. I wish he would do other things other than all the other movies that are the same thing. But I will always defend the Taken franchise, except for the TV show. We could have done without the TV show. But the movies were all good. The third one, I think they kind of stretched it a little bit. Maybe it wasn't the best idea to do the third one. And I heard he wants to do a fourth one. I hope not. I think you should just close it out with the three. But I'm saying that, but if they decide to do a Taken 4, I know I'm going to watch it. So as much as certain people may not be a fan of these movies, as much as people get annoyed by Liam Neeson doing the same movies over and over again, I love Liam Neeson. I'm a sucker for the Taken movies. I always will be. It earns its spot. Number 8, Taken 2. And on a side note, Famke Jensen and Maggie Grace, two very, very beautiful women right there.
Well, that I cannot disagree with, even though I haven't seen Maggie in a while.
She's blonde.
She hasn't been in any movies, I'm saying.
She hasn't, but she's still looking good.
All right. So, talked about this in my honorable mentions. This was the characters kind of renaissance coming in at number 7. Again, some people mixed feelings about this movie too. Felt like the main character wasn't in it enough, but that's how it used to be back in the day, so I was okay with it. And I saw this movie at the theater when it came out because I couldn't wait because there hadn't been one since 98. Godzilla 2014. They brought him back, changed his look up a little bit. He was kind of a mix of the original, and they gave kind of some of the features of that 98 one. But the thing people didn't like about the look, he was a little fat. He looked a little fat. But that was Godzilla. Like I said, the biggest complaint was he wasn't in the movie that much, and they kind of teased, and then he was a lot at the climax. And that's kind of how the older movies went. And there was a lot of the human aspect in this movie, but with the anticipation of another Godzilla movie and being in the theater, and people were clapping every time he showed up. I mean, it was a huge deal when they shot those fireworks in the air, and you see him standing at the airport, and he finally does that first roar, and yeah, it was good. I didn't really care for the creature he was fighting, the creatures he fights in the movie, but hey, I still enjoyed it. Good fight scenes, and I love how he wins that final fight too. So, yeah, always been a Godzilla fan. Always will be. Godzilla, number 7.
I saw Godzilla with Rob, and I'm not a Godzilla. I'm not big on Godzilla. I never have been. But there's one more little aspect about that movie that you kind of didn't mention. Bryan Cranston. There was a lot of people who also went to see him. And what they did to Bryan.
Yeah, they don't get a lot of him either.
Yeah, kind of pissed some people off. I don't
Yeah.
know if this happened in your theater, but mine, I saw some people leave. And I'm like,
Nah,
now I get why you're leaving, but let's watch the movie here. Now, the other character who became the lead, one of the worst characters ever. That dude, that soldier, horrible. Just
that's
that
Kick
dude,
Ass.
he was terrible, man.
That's
The
the guy
kid,
that played Kick Ass.
I don't care. The kid was horrible,
I'm just saying
but
that's who he is.
I've never seen Kick Ass. I've never even seen it.
I think you would like it.
Uh, I
It's up your alley. It's up your alley.
thanks.
I'm just saying.
I get you. I get you. Number 7. This is a weird day because I already mentioned this movie earlier today in a previous countdown. And I already said what that previous countdown earlier today was. I said it was a Denzel movie. I did a Denzel countdown. So that should tell you already probably what it is. So I ain't going to mince any words. For the second time today, The Equalizer. What can I say about this that I didn't say the first?
Can't
You
disagree.
Oh, you actually like this one? Okay,
I
good.
tried to fit it, but I just couldn't.
I grew up loving the original show. I loved the original show. Yes, it was an old British white dude. I get it. Didn't care. Loved the show. I owned the box set of the series. I loved the original Equalizer. And when I heard they were gonna do a movie, I was wondering, okay, who are you guys gonna get to play this guy? Who are you gonna get? And then they said it's gonna be Denzel, and it's like, ooh, this could be a bit interesting. And man, Denzel is a badass in this movie. Uh, he played and his character, the character he's playing is a little off, a little different than the original Equalizer. I'm fine with that. Uh, he was just a badass in this movie. The whole stuff in the store, just a badass movie. I loved it. They talked him into doing a sequel, for God's sake. And Denzel doesn't typically do sequels. So it says a lot that they got him to do a sequel. And the fact that sequel is on
Never
my
done a
honorable.
sequel.
Yeah, he does not
Never.
do sequels. He just doesn't do them. So they got him
That
to
was
do
a
this
first.
sequel. And it's in my honorable mentions, actually, also. I love The Equalizer, too. I own both these movies on Blu-ray. There will never be an Equalizer 3. And unfortunately, they did bring back The Equalizer to TV. Unfortunately, it's played by Queen Latifah. And I've never watched it, and I never will. And no, it's not because she's a woman. I just don't want to see it. But Denzel in this movie, could not recommend this movie more. It is a great action movie. Just look at that picture of him. He is a bad motherfucker in this movie, and he kills some people in a lot of different brutal ways. So couldn't recommend it more. Number 7, The Equalizer.
Yep. This one and another movie I was tempted to put on here was Book of Eli. That one.
I've never seen it.
Get out of here. Just
I've
get
never
off
seen it.
and go watch it.
I've never seen it.
You're out of your mind. I can't.
I've never seen it.
Can't handle you right now. Can't do it. How the
No,
hell?
it's just I just never got to the theater to see it, and I don't watch TV, so and I'm not going to go buy it. There's not the age of renting anymore, so it's just unless somebody else owns it. Unless somebody
rent it on Amazon.
I don't want to pay for something anymore that I may not like. Unless somebody owns it and rents it to me.
I'm telling you, you'll love it. It's Denzel and it's what's his name from Batman? Jim Gordon.
Gary Oldman.
Gary Oldman, yeah. And Gary Oldman in his element, being the bad guy. So yeah,
everyone
telling you. He does that in the movie. I'm telling you.
When he says that line.
I'm just saying. You will enjoy the dynamic of Denzel and Gary Oldman. It is. I can't believe you haven't seen that movie. My God,
I haven't.
I saw that.
I really haven't.
So many times at the theater. Okay, I'll have to get over that one.
I have always meant to. It just never happened.
Okay, getting to my number 6. 2013. A lot of movies on here from 2013. To me, it was a good year for action movies. And this is another original. One of my favorite directors actually made this film. Um, Not really any. Was one major star a lot of people are familiar with, Idris Elba, in this one, and I saw this movie at the IMAX, and that was the way to see it. Turned all the way up, the biggest screen. Excuse me, you feel like you were there, and I'm talking about Pacific Rim. This There was no other way to see this but in IMAX, and I mean, you felt every, you know, punch, kick, every explosion. The story itself, when it comes to these kaiju movies, the plots really aren't too, they're not too deep. They're just there to get you by and get you in the action scene. So that's pretty much what this was. But because it's Guillermo del Toro, um, the story is decent, and there's a lot of comedy in the movie as well. It works well. Of course, if it's Guillermo, he has to have his boy in the movie, Hellboy himself, Ron Perlman. Just a quick cameo. He's not really in the movie
Ron's in it.
but it's to me, I recommend if you like, you know, kaiju big action movies. This came out at the right time. It came out before, you know, well, not before, but Transformers had happened already, so we were kind of getting to that kind of numbness of seeing cities getting destroyed.
That we'd gotten through that with Roland Emmerich.
Yeah,
Roland Emmerich made us get sick of that.
but it was really getting like every movie. Like they even did the Superman, and that pissed me off because I like watching Man of Steel. I was like, is this Transformers or Superman? I forgot what the fuck I was watching. So I still really enjoyed this movie, and I recommend it. I do. I really do.
Okay. Hopefully this doesn't shock you any further. I've never seen it. I've never seen it. Here's the thing. I tie that to things like Godzilla. And I'm not a big Godzilla fan, so it's just not something I choose to watch. It's just not something it floats my boat. It's not something I'm into, as you said earlier. It's just not something I'm into. But I've heard good things about it.
Yep.
All right. My number 6. And it's fitting that this franchise shows up on this list on today, because today is also not just my birthday, but today is also the birthday of the late, great Sir Sean Connery. And of course, when you think of Sean, one of the roles you think of course, is Agent 007, James Bond. And of course, we had a couple of James Bond movies during this era. And the one that's here is Skyfall. Daniel Craig at this point was not impressing me as a James Bond. He just wasn't. I was looking at him like just an Americanized James Bond. So I wasn't a fan of Casino Royale or Quantum Solace, even though I own both of them because I'm a Bond nut. So I still have to have all of them. Not a fan.
I like Casino Royale and the one. Quantum of Solace was just okay, but I like Casino Royale.
At this point, I was. Scene. Well, that's directly from the book.
But
that's from the book. Like that, I know.
You had to cringe.
Well, yes, I didn't think they'd put that in the movie. I was wondering as I'm sitting here watching, are they going to do the wicker chair scene? And they did. I was shocked they did it. But yeah, that's taken right from the book, and they're very descriptive in the book. That's all I'm going to say.
Movie, I just thinking about that. Ugh, excuse me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's different, but at this point, Daniel Craig I was begging for him to just be done with James Bond because these movies did not feel like a James Bond movie. It just felt like just a regular old action movie. And then Skyfall shows up. And at this point, I was even debating if I would even watch it. But I'm a Bond fan, of course. I have no choice. I got to watch it. And this movie deals with the past of his boss, M. And there's a lot of things that happen at the beginning to James Bond. I don't want to blow anything, but essentially the past comes back to haunt. And you have a different kind of James Bond in this movie. He's not at his top fit condition, shall I say. For those who've watched it, you know exactly why. But this is directed by Sam Mendes, and it was the first time that a Daniel Craig movie felt like a James Bond movie. We finally had Q. Q showed up for the first time in the Daniel Craig movies right here. And I remember sitting in the theater just giddy that Q finally made an appearance. And it just helped make this movie so much better. The only problem I have is with the villain. Silva, played by, and I'm going to screw up his name, Javier Bardem. The trailers made it look like he was just the ultimate villain. And I was a bit disappointed in what they did with him. However, again, great movie. Starring also Ralph Fiennes is in this movie. This was finally a good James Bond movie. Finally, something that I could watch multiple times, and I have. And honestly, my favorite Bond theme as far as music is from this movie, the Skyfall theme by Adele. So they hit it out the park with this movie. And that's why it's my number 6, 007, Skyfall.
I'm trying to think if I have seen that. I do remember Ralph Fiennes, I would say his name.
Ralph Fiennes, yeah.
I don't know that I've seen it all the way. I don't know. I can't really recall. Sometimes those Bond movies just blend together.
This one is different. This one you actually learn about Bond's past. Not a lot did that. This one you actually learn about his childhood. There's not a lot of Bond movies that do that.
I'll probably have to revisit it then. That's what that'll come down to. All right. Getting into the top half of this thing, coming in at number 5. Has the number 5 in the title. And this is the series that, I had to kind of pick one, and to me it was the best one in the series.
Okay. Okay.
And getting back to The Rock. And when I saw the trailer for this, I knew The Rock was in it, but then I saw that he was going to have a certain fight scene, and I just couldn't wait to see it. I had to see it. I saw this in IMAX as well, and I actually owned a black Dodge Charger at the time this movie came out. Fast 5. This is the best Fast Furious movie out of however fucking many there are now. I'm so sick of seeing them.
9? Isn't it
now?
like
I'm
9?
at the point. Yeah, now I'm at the point I don't even want to see them. But this one, obviously it was The Rock, but it was finally that feeling of two big action heroes going at it again, and I think that's really what drew me in. You had The Rock and Vin Diesel, and they're gonna have a fight scene, and it was like, yeah, everybody wants to see that. And The Rock was playing this big, tough, badass federal agent, and then you see Vin Diesel is Dom, obviously. In real life,
The Rock would kick his ass.
If you watch the if you watch the movie, they're standing eye to eye, and there's just no way.
No way. No.
Vin Diesel is all
short.
5'10".
He's a midget.
He's not a midget,
but
Rock. he's
to The Rock, he's a midget.
He's 5'10", and Rock is 6'3", 6'4". almost 300 pounds of man. I'm like, no, you're not
That Vin Diesel asked that. He probably was standing on a box.
standing. Yeah, he had to be standing on something. There's just no way. But their fight scene was brutal. I appreciated it, and that even outside of that, that last scene with the Chargers and they're dragging that safe, they actually did that. That was a practical effect. They really dragged a safe and tore all that shit up. So, and I miss that about movies, like practical effects. So, all that being said, to me, this was like the last one in the series before they got absolutely fucking insane and ridiculous and stupid with
secret agents
from being street racers to secret agents. And if you watch the latest one, they're superheroes all of a sudden. So I just quit. Okay. I tapped out. 5, maybe 6, still good, but 5 is the only one. If somebody asked me out of the whole series which one they absolutely should watch, it's number 5, and that's it. Yeah, some people might say, "Well, you gotta watch the first one." No, you don't. No, you don't.
Yeah, not into Fast and the Furious. That's definitely not my thing. But I did watch your review of it, of the most recent one.
Yeah.
Definitely, listeners and viewers, look that up on YouTube.
Yeah.
To get what he said.
Yeah, fuck that movie. And it was fucking stupid.
Yeah, I got the gist from everything you were saying about it. But you went and saw it. That's on you.
I tried to be nice, take the boys. The pandemic had broke for a minute, and they hadn't been to a movie in over a year and a half. So, you know.
Well, you had a bad run there because you also saw Space Jam.
I saw that at home. I did not go pay to see that shit.
You still witnessed it. I won't even go there. All right. We're in the top half. Number 5. I just will not waste much time here. We'll just go right to it. 007, back to back. Spectra, which came after Skyfall. This is almost an immediate follow-up. James Bond in this gets a message from his past, and he's on the trail of this sinister organization, Spectra. And as soon as I saw the title for this movie, I was like, oh, we are finally getting a full-blown James Bond movie. Spectra's been around forever. They go all the way back to the Sean Connery movies. So the fact that they called this Spectra, I was excited. All I was wondering was, who's Blofeld? Who the hell is going to be Blofeld? And along the way, we discovered that Batista was going to be in this movie. And I'm like, oh, who are you going to be, Batista? Mm-hmm. And Batista's character, he plays a real
Mr. Hinks.
Yeah, he plays Mr. Hinks, who is a badass motherfucker.
Yeah, doesn't say a word.
He don't speak. He just, if you see him, you're in trouble. You're about to die. Probably not going to enjoy your death. No. Probably going to hurt.
That fight scene on that train.
Oh, yeah. Daniel describes the fight scene that he did with Batista. He said Batista beat the shit out of him. Mm-hmm. And he got injured because Batista beat the shit out of him.
Another gigantic dude.
Oh, yeah. He's a big dude. But Daniel wanted that. He wanted the fight to be realistic. And part of the reason was this was channeling the late Sean Connery again with the fight scene in the movie From Russia with Love. That's what they were going after. And of Daniel Craig's Bond movies, Spectra is the best one. It is absolutely where he finally fully is James Bond. It had the full James Bond feel. This was just a great movie. And Blofeld, played by Christopher Waltz, perfect. he did an amazing job in this movie as Blofeld. Christoph Waltz. Sorry, I already say his name wrong. I'm terrible with names. But this was just a brilliant Bond movie. And sadly, probably the last good Daniel Craig movie, because I have a funny feeling this next one is going to be ass. I'll still see it, but I will think it's ass because I know what they're going to do. Mm-hmm. And I will be done if they do this. If they do it, I am done. You will have, I'll be done. I don't like this.
Even though it's a sister, I just no,
I'm not gonna. I don't. If you want to do spinoffs with completely opposite characters, because they were going to do this a couple of times. Lucy Liu, she was going to get a spinoff movie. Halle Berry, she was going to get a spinoff movie. I'm fine with that, but when you actually are going to do what they're supposedly going to do, no, I'm not down with that. So I really hope they don't do it. But if they do, that's it. I have to draw the line, and the line will be right there. But I will always give Daniel Craig his prop for this. Spectre was his best James Bond movie up till now. I really don't think No Time to Die is going to top it. So it earns its spot, number 5. And again, rest in peace to Sir Sean Connery. Today's his birthday. Happy birthday, sir. Happy birthday, Sean Connery.
All I have to say is give Idris Elba the damn part.
No. Yeah. I know who I want to play Bond next, and it's not him. No.
He'd be great.
No, I don't know. I don't need the race changing. No, it's just the same. I don't need to do that.
Doesn't matter.
It does to me. I don't like this, the sex changing, the race changing. Just leave it alone. Just leave it alone. Well, would you want Black Panther being played by a white dude?
Cleopatra was played by white women.
I didn't like Cleopatra, so I don't care.
It's not about liking a movie or not. It's about accuracy. Cleopatra from Egypt in Africa, played by a white woman. Come on now.
And I didn't like it.
If you read the Hunger Games, Katniss Everdeen is black, played by a white woman. So
never watched it.
It's been being.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
It's not about being watched, book. The point is they've been doing this since the dawn of time, changing.
And I don't like it. So I've never liked it.
In any event, let's keep it moving. Probably another one that you didn't see.
Probably.
But this one, to me, out of I guess this genre of action movies, I think this one got it the most right, because I mentioned this one on our last countdown when I talked about this movie. And I'm just gonna get into it. So Kong Skull Island, and this one had Samuel L. Jackson.
You know I haven't seen it.
Tom Hiddleston. What's her name that played Captain Marvel? I can't think of her name. Brie Larson. I think where Peter Jackson got his movie wrong was it was just way too long. I mean, you could have cut the first hour with Jack Black and doing all that filmmaking stuff, and you probably would have been okay. But this one, however, is way more condensed, and the people in the movie are not annoying. They're actually fun, and they have fun with this movie. It's and it does not waste time. It's just, you know how they do, every big creature movie does that same stupid slow reveal. You see the hand, or you see an eyeball, and you see, the shadow, the silhouette, but they don't show the full creature. No, they get right to Kong. You get him, 10, 15 minutes in, you're getting King Kong. And you get plenty of him, which I thought was smart. They also, this wasn't, now I can't think of his name. The guy does all the mocap stuff. I guess his name will come to me in a minute. But anyway, I thought that the Kong they did in this movie was the CGI was fantastic. Um, like I said, Samuel L. Jackson did a great job in the movie. He got some of the people from Straight Outta Compton. John Goodman's in the movie, so you got a strong cast to go along with it. And I thought it was a very fun movie. Me and my wife saw this on a date, dinner and movie. So it was great things. Right now, I own it on Blu-ray. Watch it all the time. Love it. Kong Skull Island.
You just named the person I think should be Bond next.
Tom Hiddleston?
Yeah.
No way.
Yes, I would actually like him to play Bond.
No.
Bond doesn't need to be all big and buff. That he's never really
Not
been.
about being big buff. He can't pull that off.
I think he could pull it off. And I don't even like Loki as much as everybody else. It's not even about Loki. I just think he's got the right look. So, but it's odd you mentioned Peter Jackson, because Peter Jackson is tied into my number 4. And once again, this is tied to our previous countdown. When I think of Peter Jackson, I sure as shit don't think about King Kong. I tried to forget that thing ever happened, and I'd successfully done it until somebody mentioned King Kong. I wonder who that is.
I like that movie too. Own it on Blu-ray.
Yeah, I know, and it's despicable. My number 4, directed by Peter Jackson, The Hobbit, Battle of the Five Armies. I'm a Lord of the Ring nut. I have always been a Lord of the Ring nut. And this trilogy, not as good as the Lord of the Ring trilogy. It wasn't. But it was still very good. I own all 3 movies on Blu-ray. I do plan on getting the special editions of these movies, which are longer, but I like that stuff. This follows Bilbo and the crew as their...
Wait.
What?
When you say longer, you need to specify the meaning of longer.
The movies are longer.
When I tried to watch Lord of the Rings.
Which version?
I apparently I rented the extended one, which I did not realize I had done. Till I saw, like, you hit play. Sometimes it shows you the whole runtime. 4 fucking hours.
That would have probably been Return of the King.
I was done. I was like, nah, there's no way.
That was Return of the King. Return of the King is the longest one. I watched those 3 movies.
That was
Fellowship isn't 3. Fellowship is not 4. It's close, but it's not 4. Return is
good enough. Close is good enough. Damn it.
It's like, I think it's like 3 hours and like 20 or 30 minutes, but not 4. I watched those 3 movies in succession. The special edition versions. Thank you very much. I watched all those movies in one day. It was my greatest movie marathon ever. It did. It took all day. Because there's also the animated movies I watched along with it. I watched 9 movies that day. But this follows Bilbo and company after having to deal with Smaug and getting the treasure from the previous movie, The Desolation of Smaug. This is the final battle around the Lonely Mountain, hence the title, Battle of the Five Armies. If you're a fan of Lord of the Rings, you know what that means. And I was very curious how they were going to end this, because there's some moments in it that are really depressing at the end. But I was curious how they were going to end it. Were they going to try to take away from it? Would they be dumb and even try to change it, even though I was pretty sure they wouldn't? Thankfully, they stuck to everything. This is a really great movie. The best of this trilogy was definitely the last one. Unfortunately, the first one was kind of good, but Second one was better, and this one was far, far better. Not quite as good as the Lord of the Ring trilogy, but still, Peter Jackson at this point still was a genius to me until he, King Kong. But I love this movie, love this franchise. I'm nervous as shit about the show that's going to be at, I think it's Netflix. I'm scared to death. I'm afraid that's going to be horrific, but I'll take a peek on it. But my number 4, The Hobbit, Battle of the Five Armies.
Yeah. Not my cup of tea there. I actually tried to watch that versus Sherlock Holmes, where I actually tried to watch those. Nope.
I watched the Hobbit animated movie as a kid in school. That movie I enjoyed watching. That's what started it. It was better watching that than Roots. Yeah. Yeah, Blake and I talked about this.
Yeah, we don't need to go there tonight.
Not a good movie to show a little young black kid, Roots. Especially when you didn't know that's how it went down.
Okay, quick story. That was self-discovery for me on accident. I was, when I was a kid, we still had VHSs. So, I'm looking for my kid movies that were mixed in with obviously YouTube, but they were mixed in with my parents' movies sometimes, and I put in the wrong tape.
You grabbed Roots?
Roots popped up.
How old were you?
They didn't have the, the box set or anything. I think this is just like an episode, but.
How old were you?
I couldn't have been about 6 or 7 years old.
Oh, damn. Yeah, that was traumatic.
I see Mr. Reading Rainbow himself strung up, getting whipped. What's your name, boy?
Kunta Kinte.
And I had questions after that saw that scene. I'm just gonna leave it at that. And that's how I realized that. Yeah, that's how it went down.
Yeah, that movie traumatized way too many people. A generation of kids got traumatized.
Yeah, it's not the only movie. I mean, well, that was a show, but it's not the only. There's other movies out there that kind of hint at it, but Roots really stands out.
It took you there.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway,
enough about Roots.
Yeah. Number 3. Man, I think we're getting back to this. Came out in 2013 as well. This was okay. It's funny. This movie came out the same time another movie came out, and they both had the same idea, same type of plot, right? One of them did it better.
I'm wondering if it is what I think it is.
And the one that did it better stars Gerard Butler.
Yep, I knew it. Freeman. I knew it. You're thinking the other one, White House.
Oh, man.
Oh, that movie's bad. Oh, that thing is bad.
It came out at the same time.
Yes, it did.
And I was working at a movie theater, and people were asking me, like, so which one should I see? I was like, Olympus.
Olympus. I have White House down, not by choice. It is bad.
I didn't think it was the drizzling shits, but the fact that it was like they were trying to be Olympus Has Fallen.
Oh, it was
cheap. Just wasn't.
Oh, it was cheap.
It just wasn't.
It looked cheap.
Channing Tatum, just as a leading man, just was not going to work.
Well, Jamie Foxx as the president wasn't that much better either.
That was fine. But I think if they would have got a better lead than Channing Tatum, that movie would have done better. But in any event, the real movie, my number 3 is Olympus Has Fallen with Gerard Butler. Absolutely kicked ass in this movie. This is hard freaking hitting. The action was nonstop. Aaron Eckhart plays the president in this one, and Morgan Freeman plays Secretary of State, but he ends up being the president at some point. This movie's fantastic.
The Angel Has Fallen.
I haven't seen that one. I'm a little nervous.
It's not bad.
Yeah. It didn't. Yeah. Anyway, I don't want to give away too much, but all I got to say is this is probably if I ever do a Gerard Butler countdown, top 3 movies right here. He absolutely killed it. Morgan Freeman
I don't think I can do one.
does his thing. Um,
I could do a Morgan Freeman one though.
but yeah, I man, I don't have a bad thing to say about this film. Awesome. Uh, you don't have to waste your time ever watching White House Down. I will say that it's not. Like I said,
As soon as you described it, I knew what it was.
it's not the drizzling shits, but it's not anything you need to waste your time watching either.
Yeah, just don't. Just don't.
But Olympus Has Fallen. I'll even say London Has Fallen is a pretty good sequel. It's just not as good as the first one. But yeah.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
But yeah.
Oh, it's so ironic that you said Channing Tatum. Because this next movie does involve Channing Tatum.
Oh God. That can't be good.
No, actually, this isn't that bad. This is not that bad. Number 3 came out same year, 2013. G.I. Joe Retaliation. Now, I don't care if this is revealing anything because it makes the movie better. Channing dies in the first couple of minutes of this movie. They kill him. And Channing was an eyesore in that first G.I. Joe movie. He was brutal. So, and I love the character of Duke, but what he did to it was horrible. So I almost didn't watch this movie. I grew up in the G.I. Joe era. Loved G.I. Joe. So what they did the first time around was just horrible. And the only reason I wouldn't watch this was because of you-know-who. He's been said on here a couple of times already, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. So I'm like, okay, there's only one G.I. Joe he could possibly be playing. And I'm interested in seeing how he's going to be Roadblock. And, he kicks ass in this movie. My favorite character, of course, is Snake Eyes. They improved even on Snake Eyes. And this movie is by far superior. A much better G.I. Joe movie. I left this movie pumped and jacked and went and watched it again that day. Loved this movie. Also, Jonathan Pryce is in this movie. Ray Park, another guy whose name has been mentioned numerous times. He was my boy Snake Eyes, of course. So he was, yep. Snake Eyes and Arnold Vosloo. He's another name that's been mentioned numerous times. He played Zartan. This was just a great G.I. Joe movie. They knocked it out of the park. And I remember when Channing Tatum first showed up on that screen, I'm like, ugh, he's in this. But then he died. I don't care if that's revealing. It happened so early in the movie, it doesn't matter. But when they killed him, I jumped for joy, and I wasn't the only one. A few other people cheered that they killed him. So obviously I wasn't the only one that thought he was brutal. This movie is great. Bruce Willis is in this movie. I'm not going to say who he plays in this movie, but he's in it and he kicks ass in this. I love this movie. Fucking love it.
Old girl.
Can't
think of her name.
Lady J.
That red dress.
Oh God.
That's her name, Lady J.
No, I'm trying to think of the actress's name.
Oh,
Adrian Palicki or Padalecki or something. Adriana Padalecki. I probably said her name wrong, but I know I'm looking at her name. Yeah. 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 Yeah,
she's in my number 2. So.
Okay, I know what it is. I know what it is. But my number 3, G.I. Joe Retaliation from 2013.
Nice. I actually thought about putting that on here because The Rock was kind of like a franchise enhancement.
Oh, he enhanced it.
He helped this one. He helped Fast Furious. I never saw the Journey to the Center of the Earth thing, but apparently he helped that one too.
Supposedly he did, yeah.
So yeah, he was movie steroid, I guess. And it proofs in the pudding. All these movies he was in made millions of dollars, and they all did better than the previous. So
Till Tooth Fairy and Doom.
well, that was long before all this. He had
I don't care.
different management back then.
I don't care. Those movies are god awful.
Anyway, getting to number 2, kind of hinted at it, but
Yes, you did.
I actually was told this movie was recommended to me by a friend. He was like, "Dude, you gotta see this shit." Because I was never a big Keanu Reeves fan, so I was just kind of like, really? No, I'm so glad I took time to watch it because he was like, dude, just watch it. I'm not gonna tell you nothing.
Boy,
holy shit! And the fact that doing my research, he actually is into this type of stuff. Like he does this type of fighting style. He practices it and the gun fighting, and he's a specialist. He does all that stuff.
I've seen the videos of him.
He probably does about 90% of his own stunts. Like legit. The only person who does more stunts than Keanu is Tom Cruise. So talking John Wick. And
I knew this would come
this
up.
movie, the score, to how they treated him, Baba Yaga. I mean, just I love the movie, and everybody. I know people try to troll this movie, like, "Oh, this over a dog." No,
I said that. I said that.
It's not about the dog, okay? The man lost his wife, and the only thing she left him was that dog.
The dog.
And then they killed the dog and stole his car.
Oh, can't forget about the car.
And I'm like, y'all got the dad now. Y'all took the, and it makes me wonder if they played a role in her death as well, because they never say what she died from. So I don't know. In any event, he gets back in the spy game, and he's just wrecking shit. I mean, the fight scenes, the way he kills people with his bare hands, and then when he gets a hold of a gun or a knife or a pencil, a fucking pencil. It is. I love 1. I love John Wick 2. 3. They get a little carried away with some stuff, but I will say
they can do a 4th.
Oh yeah, they're making the 4th one. But I still enjoyed it. 1 is my favorite because it kicked it all off, and to me, it really set the tone. And man, I just enjoyed it the most. It's very, very gruesome. The fight scenes are in your face. You feel every punch. And I liked everything about this movie. John Wick 1, 2, highly, highly recommend. 3, it's kind of the only problem with doing a 3rd and 4th one is you just know what to expect. So it loses some of that spectacle. But definitely 1 and 2, highly recommend.
Yeah, I knew this would come up because those movies are my.
Those movies are awesome. I mean, I might not recommend the 3rd one as much as the first 2, but they're all good. They're all.
I love fantastic. Keanu. I love Keanu Reeves, and I have never seen any of the John Wick movies because once I heard about the dog, I was like, really? About a damn dog?
No, it's not.
I get it, but at the end, it's the damn dog, and I just can't get myself to get past that.
It doesn't even play that much a role in the movie.
I know. I've had this explained more times than I can count. I just can't get. I've tried to watch this a couple of times, but then the dog thing pops in my head, and I just.
Bro, if you can watch a whole day,
I can't.
The Hobbit, you can take an hour and a half and watch this.
I'm passionate about those movies, so it's not even the same. It's not the same. I get what you're trying to say, but it's not the same. All right. My runner-up. Let's just not mince any words on this.
I was waiting. I'm like, damn, we ain't had one yet. So here we go.
Yeah, there's no debating this one. Olympus Has Fallen kicks way too much ass. And if it wasn't for another movie, this would be a slam dunk number one. Because, God damn, Gerard Butler kicks a lot of ass in this movie. He is a serious badass in this movie. A lot of people, when they think of Gerard Butler, they think of 300. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. No, I think of Olympus Has Fallen.
I think of this, and I think of the other one he did with Jamie Foxx.
The Lord, where he's I know what you're thinking.
Law-abiding citizen.
That's it.
Yeah, I think of those two, really.
I think of this when I think of Gerard Butler. He is an absolute badass in this movie. There is nobody that can fuck with Mike Banning. He is the ultimate badass. Aaron Eckhart playing a president, plays a good president. Are there some over-the-top action scenes? Yes. Who the fuck cares? The movie's just that damn good. Antoine Fuqua, I probably said his name wrong.
Fantastic director.
An amazing director. I already mentioned one of his movies because he was a director of Equalizer. So he's done a lot of great movies. Didn't he pass away?
No, wait.
I could have sworn he passed away.
Hold on.
I could have sworn he passed away.
Let me, here we go. No.
Okay, good.
I think you're thinking of John Singleton.
That's it. Yep, that's who I was thinking. Thank you. Sometimes I get those two confused. Two great directors.
Yeah. No, Antoine's alive and kicking.
Good. Thank goodness. But Olympus Has Fallen. There's not a lot more I can add to this. You said everything. I will just say I won't dip too much into it, but that final fight scene at the end, woo-hoo, that fight scene at the end is just straight up brutal. Those two motherfuckers are kicking the shit out of each other. At this point, I just did not want this movie to end. This was one of those movies, after I was done watching it, I wanted to straight up get in a fight. I was just pumped up and jacked. A great, great movie. I own this, of course, on Blu-ray. I actually do own London Has Fallen on Blu-ray, too. It is a good movie, not equal to Olympus. Angel, it's not bad, but it is the worst of the three. It's definitely the worst of the three, but it's worth watching. But it never got as good as Olympus Has Fallen. And had it not been for one other movie, this would be such a slam dunk number one. But Olympus Has Fallen, its place is secure, a kick-ass movie. If you love action movies, fight scenes, explosions, motherfuckers, you better watch this movie. It kicks way too much ass, which is why it's on both our lists. My number two, runner-up, Olympus Has Fallen. All right, sir. What you got here?
Like you, one movie kind of.
I think I know what yours is.
One other movie kind of, to me, had more action. And it took me by surprise because I was hesitant to watch this movie. Because the trailer, they don't really give away a lot of the action in the trailer. So it kind of, I don't know. I wasn't excited to see it. I'm glad it did because it was getting a lot of good reviews. It may not be what you think it is. Getting back to Tom Cruise.
No, I figured it'd be Tom Cruise.
Henry Cavill.
And
my girl.
I knew there had to be a Mission Impossible.
Angela Bassett. Fallout. Mission Impossible. Fallout. Holy shit, man.
Yep.
That is a masterpiece of action movie.
Good. It's very, very good. It's very
caught me off guard. I mean, I just couldn't. I don't have the words. And Henry Cavill, man, good God. I mean, forget Superman. This dude can play.
What do you do now? He's the Witcher.
I checked that out too. I heard good things about that. But in this, he steals this movie. I mean, he tried to steal this movie from Tom Cruise, but Tom Cruise just snatched it back because the motorcycle scene, you could tell it's him the whole time. And the
Oh
fact
yeah,
that
it's
Tom
him.
Cruise took the time to learn how to fly a helicopter for the
Helicopter.
climax.
Well, he'd always been flying helicopters. He just finally did it legally.
Did you know he held the camera while he was
Yes,
flying the chopper?
yes, I heard about it.
He's a nut.
He's insane. He's insane.
He's an absolute
He's insane.
nut.
You
Okay.
saw him. You saw him stand on that picture he took, standing on top of the world tallest building in the world, right?
No, but
You
I
never
believe
saw
it.
that. Yeah, he's
No,
no
but I
ropes.
believe it.
He's just standing there, smiling and grinning.
I totally believe it. He's a nut. And but I kudos to him, man. I mean, not only puts his money up for these movies, he puts his money where his mouth is and does all the stunts. I
He
mean,
puts his life on the line.
yeah, and I just love this almost felt like a James Bond movie. I mean, maybe that's why. I only say that because of Henry Cavill and the way that it ended with the whole. I don't want to give it away, but I think it still had its own feel to it. I'm saying it is James Bond, but
I know what you're saying. I wouldn't say it's a James Bond film.
and I was glad to see Ving Rhames getting some more shine than he had previously in these movies.
Yeah, they kind of ignored him.
Yeah. I just man. And it took a while. The only negative I'll give this movie is there's a twist in the movie because you're confused about a certain character,
Okay.
and they could have done that cleaner. I think it was a little confusing.
It is. It
But
is.
outside of that, I had no complaints. Best action movie in the last 10 years. Mission Impossible Fallout, hands down.
I figured you had to have a Mission Impossible movie on here, and I was just trying to think. It's got to be Fallout. It has to be Fallout that he's going to put up here. I just kept waiting for you to say it, and I'm like, okay, he still hasn't said it. That movie has to be on his damn list, and we get to number one. I'm like, okay, he's got that number one. It has to be his number one. So I did get that right. And I ain't complaining. That's a good movie. In fact, that movie is an honorable mention, but it is not my number one. My number one. There's not a lot I can say about this movie. This is a part of a franchise. One of us was bound to say it. You should already know what it is. There's a real good song that's tied to this movie. I'm sure you know it. Bad boys, bad boys. Come on, baby. Bad boys for life. I was stunned how good this movie was. I was nervous as hell, them coming back to play. I wasn't scared about Will, but I'm like, Martin, you ate Martin some time ago. So I was a little concerned, how's Martin going to be in this? And I don't want to reveal too much, but I'll just say the night of the party, when that scene occurred, holy shit, I'm like going, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Are y'all about to do what I think you're going to do? Because if you really are about to do this, I'm out the door. I don't want to reveal a whole lot for those who have not seen that movie, but just holy shit. The action in this movie, it was just good to see them back together again. I mean, I have this movie on DVD, special edition, the original. Then, of course, the second one on DVD. And then when it came around this third one, I decided to wait to buy it because I wanted this. It's the It's the collector's edition. All 3 on Blu-ray.
Okay, yeah, I own Bad Boys for Life.
I love the Bad Boys for Life, and they're supposedly doing a 4th one, and I'm scared that they may finally really fuck it up, because Bad Boys 2 is the worst of the 3. Not an insult, just happens to be the worst.
Well, one of them had to be.
Yeah, one of them has to be the worst. It's not, in this argument, it's not an insult. Right. Just something has to occupy the space. My fear is they're going to fuck it up, like really fuck it up somewhere down the line. I hope they don't, because these directors, what they did for Bad Boys for Life is just amazing. This movie just kicked ass.
You know what they did? They told Michael Bay
to fuck off.
You can't have this one.
I mean, this movie's just so damn good. I could talk about Bad Boys for Life forever. This movie caught me completely off guard. Mm-hmm. Could I have done without the twist at the end?
I thought it fit.
I didn't mind it.
I thought that this is not a spoiler. I thought Mike needed
something to humanize him a little bit.
Not that he needed an arc. His character needed an arc, and he finally got one.
He got an arc, yes. So I just love this movie, Bad Boys for Life. Of all the movies I mentioned on here, this is the one that I would strongly, strongly recommend. Just an absolute great movie. These two just together is just an amazing thing. Yeah. It just takes me back. I mean, to those first movies and the original Bad Boys. Do you know who they originally were going to have in the original? No, not at first. This was going to be more on the comedy end. I'll just say one of them, Dana Carvey. That should tell you where this was going. I'm not kidding. I'm not. I didn't even mention who the other one is. Just be glad I didn't say the other one.
Well, Will in interviews said that they approached him for the role and they asked him. They approached
Will after this. It was originally going to be 2 white cops, and I'm trying to think of the other guy's name. I can see his face, short, fat. He was on the Saturday Night Live.
Chris Farley?
No, not Chris Farley. Older.
I don't know. I never watched Saturday Night Live really, but he probably wasn't even on there.
But Bad Boys for Life, absolutely amazing. Hands down, my number one.
I think that they got the jokes right in that one, where they didn't hit you over the head with them. They were kind of spread out, and they only came when stuff happened. It wasn't just like, it's been 5 minutes, we gotta give you a joke. It was just funny when stuff happened, like when they show up to a crime scene, but they're late. And something happens. You get Marcus's reaction. Like,
yeah. I even like the new team that they involve in this movie. I mean, they just did this movie so good.
Yeah.
I have no complaints on this movie. This is a perfect
to do what they did. And Will Smith talks about it. He was like, we had numerous scripts, and he was like, I just don't want to do it if it's not going to be right. And he felt like, and I'm glad that they didn't try to keep them young.
Oh no, they make a lot of old jokes.
Yeah, they played their age. Like they ain't spring chickens no more.
I mean, talking about, I think Martin talked about dyeing the hair and all that.
Midnight cocoa bean.
Midnight cocoa bean. So this movie is just so damn good. Like I said, I could talk about this fucking thing forever. It's just so damn good. I have to think about it. I mean, I love this so much. It could be my favorite Will Smith movie. That's another countdown I'm going to be doing, Will Smith movies. So that I have to think about it. But my number one, Bad Boys for Life. That is it. That is our countdown. How rough was this for you? Yeah, anything you regret? Anything you'd switch?
No, like I said, it's just the decade was filled even before it ended. So like I said, from 2008 to now, it's been superhero heavy. So it's a little tougher to dissect action movies that aren't superhero related. So
We don't have to worry about another decade unless we go backward now. So,
yeah, well, we got another 9 years.
yeah, we got a lot of time here. So far too much. Who knows if the countdown will even still be around at that point. But what do y'all think? What's your countdown list? What would you have as the best action movies from 2010 to 2019? Did we miss something? Did we do something out of order? Do you completely disagree with us? Let me know. Let us know. There's plenty of ways you can let us know. And there they are, right there on your screen. You can send an email. Yep, you can send an email. Send it to the countdown2020 at gmail.com. You can go onto the Facebook page. Just search the Countdown 2020 Podcast 1. Go on Twitter. Just search the Countdown PO1. Go on the Instagram. Just search the Countdown 20. On Spotify, you can listen to all the episodes. Just search the Countdown 2020. I'm on Amazon Audible. Just search Countdown Podcast. I'm on iHEART Radio. Just search the Countdown Podcast. You can go on to Podbean. Just search the Countdown Podcast. All the episodes available through there, including the archive, in which you can just go to countdown2020.podbean.com. And of course, the YouTube page. Just search the Countdown Podcast with MJ Book. Remember the change that I've made for the YouTube page. I will not be posting videos for every episode anymore. Only special episodes and when I have guests. So this one will be posted as far as the video. Just want to do it for the special episodes. And of course, go ahead and plug away, sir.
Oh yeah, make sure you check out Third Generation Wrestling Podcast. We're on most of the major platforms that Book just spoke about: Apple, Podbean, Google, Amazon, iHeartRadio, all that stuff. We're also on YouTube, as you said, and all our videos, all our shows go on there. We even do watch-alongs. We also do movie reviews, so we're trying to branch out and stick to what we started with, but also bring in a different audience as well. So with movies, we're starting our Rocky series coming up. So we're just talking about movies here. So Scorpion King's first up. That's our next show. So you check that one out. And yeah.
And of course, the three of us will be going to watch AEW show. Pumped up. Cannot wait for that show. And I don't know. I got to try to think of some kind of a countdown to do for that one, because I cannot wait for that damn show. But do a quick shout out to Incomtech.com for the royalty-free music. Kevin MacLeod, Ice Flow, that's the music you hear at the beginning and end of the show. And that's all I got. So I will catch you all again on the next episode of The Countdown. Have yourself a great day or evening, whatever time it is. Bye-bye. And happy birthday to me.